G'day guys, welcome back to True Eagle. I am doing it on location in the United States. I am standing up. It feels exceptionally unnatural. But today let's talk about the recent game between the Eagles and the Swans on the weekend, which was, I'm sure, judging by the comments of what's being said out there, everyone agrees that was a really red hot crack that we gave, and in most ways an improvement as well. So thankfully I did get to watch this. I had to watch it on mute because we were watching something and I just got my phone up and I was watching KO on my phone. Watching it on mute was kind of a different experience as well, because you don't pick up on the crowd vibe, you don't hear what the commentators are saying, you're just really left with the observations you're making with your eyes, which sounds like a redundant statement, but it was interesting. And I really felt like the Harley Reid goal, the first goal of his career, which was great, I feel like that really was the moment that kick-started us. I felt like the first few minutes, I feel like Sydney got the first couple of goals from memory, and the game was starting to go a little bit how you'd expect it, or at least us Eagles fans were probably fearing it would, based on kind of what we were expecting. But I really did feel like that was the moment that gave us a real good lift. And not long after that, I think it was Cripps who kicked the next goal. And that set shot he kicked was absolutely unreal, which, if I'm not mistaken, must have been into the breeze. Crazy stuff. And you got the sense that from that point, the boys started to feel like they, could win this contest. And it just took a couple of moments, a couple of awesome individual efforts to really give the boys belief. And once they had belief, we see the difference in mentality, that the same group of players is playing way better. I think the biggest difference is between this game and the last few. I mean, they've all been tough opponents. In all of those games, I think more or less our strengths consistent and our weaknesses have been consistent. And I don't think this game played out too much more differently, other than the fact that we actually got well beaten in clearances, whereas normally we've been a pretty good clearances side. At least middle of the park. We're breaking even with teams. So we didn't really do too much different. I think it was just our pressure and intensity. Our running has also been generally better this year than it has last year. And I don't think we really did anything different in this game. We just got a little bit more reward for it. I would say the intensity was a little bit higher. From those two tackles, it just felt like we had a sniff. I think we kicked 5 goals, 6 in the second term, outscored them, won our first quarter of the year. Unfortunately, that's the only quarter we've won this year. And in the 3-quarter time, we played 2 quarters up to that point. We're only 15 points down. And 2 of those quarters, into a galing breeze, we managed to get reward from it when we were kicking with the wind. Unfortunately, in the last quarter, Sydney lifted to a gear that, as you'd expect, we just couldn't match. But overall, the effort level was consistently good. Harley Reid played his best game for the club, absolutely no doubt about that. Nice to see him rewarded on the stat sheet. 7 broken tackles in that game, and I'm pretty sure he had 6 to 3-quarter time. That's absurd, and from a contest point of view, he's exceeding what I thought he was capable of as an 18-year-old. But we've been blessed with some really strong performances from certain senior players all year, to be honest. McGovern, there's been so much trash talk about McGovern over the years because he's been injured, and I backed him in to have an All-Australian squad quality season, and I would back that in at the moment. He might even be in the All-Australian squad if you did it after round 4. So McGovern's been amazing. Elliot Yeo's been fantastic as well. 28 disposals, 8 tackles, 6 clearances, 9 inside 50s. Those are elite numbers from Elliot Yeo, and he's doing it week on week. I also thought Tim Kelly had a better game than the stats will suggest. I thought he was quite impactful. Maybe he just did a lot of stuff that wasn't rewarded with a stat, but he had 18 possessions of the goal. I thought he was good again. Petruccelli's putting a nice body of work together this year as well. I think he was good again. 6 marks, been a pretty consistent, somewhat reliable target for us in the forward 50. He's not kicking a lot of goals, but he's getting the opportunities. He's taking marks. He's presenting. He's doing a lot of things right. Took a hanger in this game. I did also want to sack him at one point. What was that? There was a 50-meter penalty that he gave away where he just slapped the ball out of the player's hand. I was just like, what? I don't know what he was thinking. Thankfully, the rest of his game was quite good. Brady Hough, bit of an unsung hero again. He's claimed some scalps as a smaller defender, or playing on the small forwards. He's not small, but kept Papley goalless. Papley still looked dangerous when he got opportunities, but Hough really did stifle him in this game. Jack Darling as well. I mean, he gets a lot of criticism. This was his best performance of the year. Still hasn't kicked a goal or kicked one this entire year, but I'm okay with that. I'm actually more happy about what he's doing down the ground, making contests, ideally not breaking the ribs of a teammate, but there was a rundown tackle in there. That's the sort of stuff that we need to measure Jack harshly on, and this week it was there. These games, the way I describe it, it's we look like our skills are ratchet, and they kind of are, but it's just so high intensity constantly. We're double touching everything, we're fumbling, senior players and young players alike. Campbell Chesser hasn't played in a low intensity game for a while, I don't reckon, and every ball he gets, he's in a situation where he needs to get the ball out quickly, and generally, unfortunately, more often than not, he's making mistakes. But I haven't written him off. It was just a sort of game where it was a hot footy the whole game. And obviously he probably made a bit more mistakes than we would like to see. But a few other things, we won the contested ball. We lost the uncontested by about 20. Normally that's where Sydney torch us, around the outside. So to only go down by 20 in that stat's pretty good. We only had a little bit less of the ball in terms of overall disposals, but we had one more tackle. So these are little things that used to be really big gaping holes. In this game, they were pretty good. Inside 50s as well, 53. That absolutely smashed our average. So off the back of a couple of good inside 50s games against the Bulldogs and against the Swans, we've actually moved off being the worst inside 50 team in the league. In terms of inside 50 differential, we have now just moved ahead of North Melbourne. So that is positive because that has been a dire weakness for about 3.5 years, just getting the ball inside 50. So we got a tough game this week against Richmond. I'm not too sure how much time I'll get for a preview, unfortunately. But big game, big opportunity for us. I think they'll be thinking the same thing though. This is their opportunity to claim a scalp. I'm not expecting an easy game here. They are a relentless pressure side. You know, they've just went down to the Saints. They've nearly beat Carlton. They beat Sydney, who we just lost to. This is going to be a tough test. Naturally though, we should buy into this game and have some hope and a little bit of expectation. We still need to play well. We still need to keep improving. I'm pretty comfortable with where we're at after the first month. You know, I think if you'd told me this was going to be our first month at the start of the season, I would have gone, I can tolerate that considering how far back we've come, improved in some important metrics, and also really took it up to at least one good side in Sydney. I felt like with the Bulldogs game, you know, that game had the potential to be the same, where we were winning the ball in clearances, we were driving the ball inside 50, but the skill level was so atrocious, and the Bulldogs made us pay for those mistakes. Sydney didn't quite do that, but to some extent we didn't let them either. So this is genuine improvement, it has to be said. Really tough fixture. But now, again, we have to continue that level of expectation over the next 4 weeks, which are comparatively better opportunities for a win. We've got Richmond, I think there's Gold Coast, there's the Derby before that actually, and I think Essendon at home. We need to come away with a win from these 4 games, but 1 week at a time. Let's focus on Richmond. We are a chance. We do need to play pretty similar to that again to beat the Tigers. I don't think this will be an easy game, as much as I thought they were going to be a bottom 4 side. They're playing with a level of spirit at the moment that makes this a very tough game. But hopefully, get a few early goals, get the crowd up and about, get Harley Reid a Rising Star nomination. I'm not sure if he won it this week. I haven't actually seen that yet. I'm recording this before that's come out, but fingers crossed. But yeah, I guess to summarise, big collective sigh of relief that game didn't go as bad as I thought it was. I was pretty negative going into the Sydney game, understandably so, I think. And this Richmond one, I'm cautiously optimistic, but also not really getting my hopes up for a win. I just want to see us play well again. If we go down narrowly, then we'll just move on to next week. But I just have a lot of respect for what Richmond's doing at the moment, and I think this will be a tough test. But I do think we can win. I'll go that far. But there you go, guys. Those are my thoughts. Sorry again, they're a little bit late. Combination of being away and also the Eagles were on a Saturday, I think, this week. They were on a Saturday. I'm 12 hours out, so it makes it a little bit hard to keep up. So even watching this Richmond game will be tough, but I'll do my best and I'll do a review. Hopefully it'll be out on a Monday or a Tuesday for you. Forgive the tardiness, but I am doing my best. So thank you very much, guys. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the game, what you think of this Richmond game coming up, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.